Before I introduce my partners in crime, I just want to say sincerely how much it means to me to finally have a film here at the London Film Festival. It's my third film, and my first film, Crazy Heart and Out of the Furnace, never really made it to any film festivals, and I always have wanted to come here. London is one of my favorite cities. The city has a rich cinematic history. So to finally come with a film that I couldn't be more proud of really means a great deal to me. So Claire, thank you, and thank you to BFI, and thank you to Warner Brothers for allowing me to actually show you the film. I will say that when I set out to make this picture, I did so with great trepidation because many of my favorite films and many of the best American films ever made are in the crime genre. Of course, Francis Coppola's work, Mr. Scorsese, Sidney Lumet. And the bar is very high, and you can never really try to meet that bar because that would, of course, be a fool's errand. So what I most wanted to do was tell a true crime story, not one in which criminals happen to just be humans, but one in which humans just happen to be criminals. So I hope that you find that in some way, because of the real people for which these events took a real emotional toll, that we didn't in any way glamorize or romanticize the men depicted in my film. So thank you. You'll let me know in 2 hours and 5 minutes if we've succeeded. So if you now will allow me to introduce some of my co-conspirators, one of my fellow producers, Patrick McCormick. Patrick. My fellow producer, John Lesher. Of course, one of your hometown men that I had the great pleasure of flying straight from Los Angeles, getting off a plane and going to a very riveting version, 3-hour version of Hamlet that has stayed with me for 2 days, Mr. Benedict Cumberbatch. Woo! And lastly, a man for whom I count as a dear friend, one that I think is an American national treasure, a man who takes great risks that most movie stars wouldn't take, a man who, when he leaves this great earth, as we all do, will leave so many indelible characters that you can't really keep them all in mind, and a man that I couldn't be more proud of to be in this film, Johnny Depp.
So just a bit of love.
Benedict, I'm going to ask you a little bit first about what did you know already about this story, this character that you play, Billy Bulger, the brother of James Whitey Bulger. How did what did you know about it already, and how did you come to the film?
Very little. I mean, it's incredible sort of folklore and a dark stain on America's recent history, this incredible true story. And Whitey's notoriety was something I was only really aware of when he was found in Santa Monica and arrested. So I had a lot of catching up to do, but it's always a real privilege as an actor when you get asked to do something that's outside of your comfort zone or your knowledge base. So to immerse yourself in the world of Boston, this amazing brotherhood, these two people from the same mother and father, from the same dinner tables, who had a childhood, a tough childhood, a really difficult childhood together, and then had grown up in these completely polar opposite trajectories. One through the sort of legit route of political power, and the other through the less legit route of street-based power, and that being the currency of violence. It's just extraordinary. And the complexity of that relationship and where that then led them at the height of their power. The two most powerful men in Boston, one's the president of the state senate and the other's, the kingpin of the Irish underworld. It kind of floors you. It's the sort of stuff you couldn't make up. So yeah, I did a lot of catching up and met with Johnny on set, and we just talked and tried, I think, between us to understand what may or may not have happened in private that we don't show, in order to have a base of something to play in a subtextual way of what's going on that's not being said or seen explicitly. And a great script, an incredible director, and Joel Edgerton as well, a really phenomenal, another linchpin in this relationship, obviously, and a dear friend from that job as well. So it was great fun, and Boston welcomed us with open arms. It was an amazing experience, and yeah, I loved it. Loved every minute.
Johnny, can I ask you, it's an extraordinary performance and obviously a very challenging one. Can I ask you about what attracted you to the role and also about working with Scott as a director?
Well, for me, there were two things that really were the most attractive and seductive in terms of playing this character. First and foremost, it was I'd watched both of Scott's films, his first and his second, and I found it hard to believe that he had only made 2 films at that point, He was already a master. And so there was that, and then, of course, the idea of playing this character who, at first glance, people immediately go, he's evil, he's this, he's that. But I think the only way to approach that character was to play him as a human being who did have, a kind of, a relationship with his brother that was nothing but pure love, a relationship with his mother that was nothing but pure love, a relationship with his child that was the most heartbreaking thing in his life. He's a complicated fella, so I guess the tightrope really was what was the great challenge, and I was lucky enough to have amazing makeup people who we did a number of tests until we found the right look, and once you find that look, it's that in itself is transforming. So yeah, I guess it was just the tightrope, of playing this human being who happened to be in the business of where the language was violence, and the only way to power in that arena is violence. So yeah, complicated man.
Thank you very much. Would everybody please join me in thanking and congratulating the team of Black Mass, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Claire.
Thank you, Claire.
Thank you, London.
Thank you for having us. I hope you enjoy the film. Thank you.